SD card in there. LOL. I'm a professional.
You're a professional.
I
This is
am.
going so good.
I know, right? Wow. It's almost like I've never done this before.
Remember when you texted me and I didn't have Zoom downloaded? I think that was the more embarrassing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to No Internal Monologue, where I talk
Hello.
about whatever I want, and I don't know when to shut the hell up, like ever, ever, ever. So today I have a very exciting guest on the show. I've been wanting to have you on for like the longest time, and now we're finally here, and I'm just so giddy. Like the energy is just flowing around the room right now of like how
I'm
giddy
so
I
happy to
am.
be here.
Yes, Micah from Quotes from Movies. How are we doing, buddy?
Hello, I'm doing great. It's like I was saying earlier, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Nashville. Uh,
Absolutely.
I got I got a nice fresh breeze coming through the window. It looks like there's going to be a beautiful sunset this evening. So I'm doing great.
Absolutely. And we're both matching, kind of a little bit.
And we're both matching.
And
We both have a
which viewer
blue
discretion.
on.
Yeah, viewer discretion. We did not plan that. It just kind of happened. So,
We didn't.
the stars are
I
aligning.
just threw this on.
And period. It looks really good, by the way. I love like cozy little cardigans, cozy little like throwovers. So, how fun.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah. So, this is your first time on No Internal Monologue, your first time on a podcast ever,
It is.
believe it or not.
This is my first podcast in the
Yes.
history of my life.
We're taking your podcast virginity.
I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely.
This is right where I want to be.
Absolutely. So, while we're at it, so the viewers are getting a little bit more of an understanding of who you are. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, who are you? Where are you? What are you? The whole works.
Well, as was already alluded to, I am an artist and musician, and I perform under the name Quotes from Movies. It's kind of like, if you haven't heard it, it's like alternative pop, indie pop kind of stuff. So that's kind of my main source of production and inspiration. And I also work at Trader Joe's. I live in Nashville. I have a mustache.
Where are you?
That's a lot of my personality right there.
Where are you originally from, if you don't mind me asking?
I was born outside of Indianapolis, Indiana, but I moved when I was very young to Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is kind of where I claim to be from.
There you go. Midwesterners for the win. Let me tell you.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Iowa.
Okay, I feel like I knew that.
Yeah, it's a lot of corn.
Take this however you want, but I was thinking either Iowa or Kansas. It also seemed like it could have been Kansas in my head. I feel like maybe you had told me at one point, and I was like, maybe it's Kansas.
One of those states with a lot of corn. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them.
One of the many.
One of the many. Perfect.
What is the tree situation in Iowa? Do you have a lot of trees, or is it very much like plains?
It depends on how like well kept the area is. Like in my hometown, I have like a lot of trees over there. But as you get more into like the bigger and bigger cities, like you'll notice like driving around Iowa a lot, the trees are normally within like the smaller towns and like woodland areas that nobody really resides in. But other than that, it's like just flat atmosphere, not a lot of hills, not a lot of twists and turns. Like you basically drive straight, a few roundabouts here and there, but that's about it. It's Iowa.
It's Iowa.
Yeah.
It's flat.
Our ears pop a lot because we do not have any hills to climb or any heights to reach. Yeah. So anywhere outside of Iowa, my ears are popping. It's just one of those things,
Yeah, that's fair. It's the cross you bear as a person from Iowa. What do they call people from Iowa? Are they like Iowans?
Yeah, Iowans.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, or nerds, whichever one you want to call it. No, I'm kidding.
What?
I'm totally kidding.
Oh.
While we're at it.
Oh, that's funny.
While we're at it, let's do a little catch up of the week. How's your week been going so far?
All right. My week has been good. I had today off, which was awesome. I've been writing a lot of new music lately. Like the past week, I think I've been working really hard on these 2 songs that I'm really excited about. So it's been feeling like a very creatively abundant week so far, which is feeling really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Other than that, Yeah, not a whole lot. I've been cooking up some meals this week. We're making this Southwest scramble. It's got eggs and chorizo and black beans
Ooh.
and some veggies in there.
Ooh.
That's my true passion, other than music, is absolutely cooking. And I'd like to get better at it. I'm quite a slouch at the stove at this point, but I'd like to improve. So I'm trying.
Yeah. Honestly,
How has your week been?
it's been good. With the whole cooking thing, my
Mm.
boyfriend went to culinary school. So like he's kind of motivating me to
No.
start cooking a little bit simply because like
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, "Oh yeah, he cooks all my meals for me and then I just kind of sit on my ass." Like I want to be able to contribute as well. So I'm over here like I'll cook like
Yeah.
once or twice a week just to practice, but then if there's like any like meals that we need to like impress people
Mm.
with, he's the one to go to.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, you gotta play to the strengths sometimes, you know.
You got to play to the
And
strengths.
it seems like you're well on your way to becoming a chef.
Absolutely. Cooking up some good
Sounds
meals.
like you'll just be able to learn from the best at this point.
Yeah, cooking up meals, but better off cooking off content. That's where my strength
Mm.
is. Content all the way.
That's where you're at these days. Okay.
Yeah, but speaking of where I'm at these days, I
Yeah.
actually started my new full-time job this week.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I work at a care
Let's unpack
center.
that.
I work at a care center now that I shall not say the name of due to privacy reasons. And
Makes sense.
I am filling in one of the more, like, I'm not like a CNA or anything like that. I don't have any like medical
Mm.
certification, but I'm there as kind of like an activity coordinator basically. So I get to plan a lot of the activities that the care center does so then they are
Mm.
feeling like their life is enriched as best as possible and that their time there is really nice and fun and inclusive
Mm-hmm.
while they're residing there. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I get to create smiles for a living.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I found
Hey,
it and I
that's
was like,
awesome.
yeah, my mom was like, "You're going to love this job. You're absolutely going to love this job." I was like, "Thanks,
Mm.
mom." Is it also because it's in like the medical realm of things because she's a
Mm.
paramedic, so she's just like medical, yeah, medical, like that's where her like
Yeah.
nerdiness resides at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I get to play the best of both worlds, like that practical 9 to 5, but then once I clock out there I clock in here.
Heyo, the 5 to
Ayo.
9.
Ayo. There are some people there's some people there that have already found me and they're like, "Oh yeah, Morgan from No Internal Monologue." I was like, what?
What?
Get out of here. Shh.
That's actually kind of awesome, though.
I'm like, you shut your mouth. You cannot recognize me like that. Do not perceive me. I will cry with happiness and it will be awkward.
Yeah.
So-
You're gonna be signing autographs. You're gonna have to make sure you have a pen on you and a good signature to pull out.
Honestly, no kidding. I've actually been
Mm-hmm.
kind of like practicing as like a manifestation method. Like, I'm going to be doing this
Ooh,
sometime.
I hear
So
ya.
I've been practicing. So we'll see.
I practice my signature quite a bit too. I don't know what it is. It's like if you feel like you're destined for greatness, like practicing my signature. It's something I'm gonna have to do someday. You
I
know,
mean, yeah, we both are going to have to do
and we're
that
both
someday.
destined for greatness.
Like, putting it out there. We're going to do it sometime. So we might as well practice now. Thank you, universe.
Yeah, exactly.
But with
Exactly.
But with that, speaking of destined for greatness, I have a few questions for you in a fun little interview because I just want to pick
I'm good.
as many creative brains as I possibly can. So with
Yes,
that,
admirable. Very admirable.
well, thank you. I think the first question that I would really have for you is I know looking over your Spotify, you have like a ton of bops on there, and I've seen that you've been creating music as early as like 2021. So like
Hmm.
where like how did you get started? When did you get started? Like how did you really get motivated to go for it?
I feel like okay, one of like the biggest turning points in me wanting to actually do music as a career was watching this movie called Sing Street, and I don't know if you've seen it.
I've heard of it.
It's so good, and it's about this group of kids in like 1980s Ireland, somewhere in Ireland, and they start kind of a pop band together, and it's very coming of age, but there's actually a lot of really cool like step by step imagery in the movie of like people writing songs and recording those songs and like putting together a show and then playing at the show and getting to crowd surf. And I just remember watching all that and feeling so inspired. Like I really would like to do that with my life in some way. Like I was like, I had like a magnetism towards it. I knew I wanted to be a part of it somehow. And so right now, the way I'm trying to be a part of it is just releasing music as an artist and hoping that some stuff catches on. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now, just trying to release more music. And I would say that from 2021, I've definitely like learned a lot of things. Like it feels funny when you say 2021. It doesn't feel like I've been releasing music for that long.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, I've been doing podcasting since March 12th of 2021. So I celebrated my 3-year anniversary
Yeah,
2
I
days
saw
ago.
that on your Instagram. Congratulations.
Thank you. Which is also like, it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but like,
No.
holy shit, it's been that long at the same time.
Yeah.
Feels like an eternity.
Exactly. You're like, I remember who I was when I started this.
Yeah, feels like an eternity, but also yesterday at the same time. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild how time works.
Oh, but that's so cool, though. Look at us. 3 years.
3 years. Woot woot.
3 years. It's 2024 now.
Yeah. And like, even now, like, there's so. You said that you were like learning a lot in those last 3 years. There are so many bops in your repertoire, which I think the most well-known one is "As Long as I Can," which just hit like 200,000 streams on Spotify. What?
It did.
Congratulations!
What?
Holy shit!
That's very surreal.
I remember when you announced that, like my heart literally like jumped. I was just like, oh, like I got so excited. It was insane. And like you have other so many significant songs such as like Navy Blue Crew Neck, Super Bowl Mannequin, Tattoo. There's so much more. I really love Flee the Scene. I just added it into a playlist that I have called oh god, what's the name? I just created it yesterday. I wanna I wanna gnaw on these songs like a chew toy. Like some of those songs that like you cannot
that's
get.
a good name.
It's like you cannot get enough of them. So it's just like, oh my god, I just want to like I want to gnaw on it. I cannot get enough of it. Yeah, there's 2 of your songs in there now.
That's such a good feeling to describe music.
Well, yeah, there's As Long as I Can is in there, and then Flee the Scene is in there. But
Nice. Flee the Scene is a deep cut.
it really is. But
I'm impressed. Last song off the first project I ever put out.
yes. Speaking of musical projects, what musical project do you feel like the most proud of within your career so far? What's the biggest moment where you're like listening to what you've done or seeing what you've created and you're just like, that's the spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like there's 2 that come to mind, and it's the last 2 songs that I released. And I feel like for very shallow reasons and like some very heartfelt reasons too. I feel like it's kind of As Long as I Can. It's just so cool to see how far that song has gone and kind of where it started and where it has ended up now. But I don't know. Like I said, I feel like that's a little bit shallow just because it's very tied to numbers and like success in that way. I'm just like, wow, this feels like it's kind of like my first song that's really going somewhere.
Yeah. But at the same time,
also, I also just love that song. I think it's a great song. I remember writing it and just feeling like, wow, this is like maybe like the first like close to perfect song I've ever written. Like there was nothing I really didn't like about it, and that's kind of rare for me as a writer. Is that I'll usually compromise on something because it's like, well, I need to stop like worrying so much about this and not overthink it. But then on the flip side of that, My Friends, the most recent song I released, feels like it was a really cool moment too, and something I'm really proud of. Just because the people I wrote that song about are just everything to me, and summer of 2023 was just like full of memories and full of some of the best experiences of my life, and it was all with these people, my friends in Wisconsin. There's like a pretty close, tight-knit group of us, and we spent like the whole summer together, just like hanging out at each other's places. We went on some road trips together, did some camping, went to Montana, weirdly enough.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, but so that's another proud moment for me, I suppose, just because I feel like that song really encapsulates how I feel about those people. It's not always easy to say exactly what you're trying to say in the art form, like music or something visual, but I feel like I hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah. Like for so many different sentimental reasons, like music can have such an emotional tie to the artist that puts the music out there. And like I wanted to say this before too, like with as long as I can, I totally understand where you're coming from with feeling like just focusing on the numbers is like a little bit shallow. Like I definitely see where you're coming from with that, but also like you can't sell
Yeah.
yourself short. Like that's like the song that's like taking off for you so far. That could be like your big break.
Yeah.
That is something to definitely be
So true.
that's something to be seriously proud of. If I could speak English, Morgan,
Yeah.
I was gonna say sincerely, but and
And
seriously
you
at the
can.
same time, and I was just like word vomit. But like it's one of those things like it's perfectly reasonable to be like numbers like just hearing 200,000 streams. That is like what? That is a really big
Feels
number.
huge.
Yeah, it's this big of a number. Like
It's this big.
it's this big exactly. But it's like you got to give yourself credit once in a while. It's like I
Yeah.
know like
True.
yeah.
So true.
And you can have like many different feelings about like the numbers and stuff like that. Like it can be shallow and
Yeah.
most people do recognize numbers. Like my mom is a very big numbers person. She loves analyzing numbers and that's not something to be ashamed of at all. It's just something that you look at and you find interesting.
Yeah.
I think the shallowness of it really comes with like if somebody has like a really big ego about it or is like really arrogant about it, you can kind of tell that
Right.
energy. But like
Yeah.
with the numbers where you're like, holy shit, guys, 200,000 streams, thank you so much. Like, there's no ego to that whatsoever. There's just
True. Yeah.
gratitude.
It's just thanking the people who made it possible.
And plus, you can put it on your resume, and it's just like, yeah, this is like a legitimate
So
number.
true.
You're applying to Trader Joe's, and you're like, guess what, guys? No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Just look at my Spotify. I'll write the link in the resume and you can type it out.
Try to like, yeah, click on this link. It's paper. Click on this link. I've done that before. I will admit that I have done that before. Try to put a clickable link onto paper. Thank you, Grandma.
Yeah.
But with that, one of the other questions that I have is how do you get like into your creative headspace and how do you get motivated in order to put out new music and put out new content? Like what's your process if you don't mind me asking?
Well, okay. So this is kind of a convoluted answer, a little bit, because I feel like it's changing a lot right now, and I don't know exactly what it is at the moment. I've been reading this book by Rick Rubin. It's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. A lot of artists are reading it right now, I feel like.
I'll read it next.
Really good book, though. You should. It's really good. I'll send it to you. I'll mail it to you, and you can borrow it.
Period. Sounds good. I can't wait.
But I feel like that book has really been inspiring a lot of change in my process recently because like the concepts it covers are very philosophical and conceptual and spiritual and all of the ools. Basically, it's this idea that there's a source out there that is responsible for like spreading creative energy in us, like in our world. And so, like, instead of as people, we're not supposed to like to fight to make art. Like, it's not about just like thinking as hard as you can to make something great. It's about really letting yourself relax and letting like these ideas that are everywhere just kind of manifest themselves in you. If that makes sense, it's weird reading it for the first time. Like I remember picking it up originally and thinking it was going to be a lot more dollars and cents, sort of just like meat and potatoes. Like this is how you record a guitar. but it's a lot more like just open yourself up to the universe, and like good things will come from that, but and not necessarily like from frustration or anger or just like locking yourself in a room for 24 hours and like I have to have a perfect song by the end of 24 hours. Like art just isn't created that way. But
Right.
that being said, I feel like my process is changing a lot because of that, and I'm just trying to be more like laid back and receptive in that creative way, and just like provide more space. I'm listening to a lot of music right now and like kind of letting myself be inspired by other artists. Like I've been listening to a lot of Talking Heads recently,
Ooh.
which is a band that I didn't really listen to a lot before, but I knew that a lot of my favorite bands were into the Talking Heads. So I was like, I feel like I should also check this out. And what do you know? It's very inspiring.
Well, there you go. And like, if art feels forced to somebody, you're not really meant to be doing that right now. Like,
Yeah.
forcing it is not something that creates like genuine. I think, okay, I am going to sound like every like person on the planet right now, but I've been hearing a lot of talk with Ariana Grande's new album, Eternal Sunshine, and how she was in an interview just
Yes.
saying, like, you know, like usually we have like some sort of a plan, but like with this, that it just poured out and like it just kind of came together quickly.
Yeah.
But you can tell that it didn't seem too forced because like she put it out when she was ready, and it's like genuinely one of those albums, one of those really rare albums where like you don't want to skip a single song really.
Yeah. Like
And
everything just feels so like a part of it.
and it feels so cohesive and it tells like a story. It's like her first concept album. And she was like, I
Yeah.
just felt really inspired. It just kind of poured out. I didn't want to force anything, just let it happen. And that's when the best art really is created, when you just
Yes.
allow yourself to
Absolutely agree.
take your time, allow yourself to relax, and just not focusing on deadlines, not focusing on numbers, and just focusing on like art. Just focusing
Yeah.
on self-expression, really.
100%.
Yeah, and you were talking about being inspired and allowing yourself to be inspired with your music lately. And I know that I'm a little bit of a music nerd, so this is just gonna sound like me like geeking out a little bit. But like, what artists and sounds inspire you the most to create? Like, I know that you're also a fan of the 1975, and I can definitely hear
Right.
those heavy influences in there. But your sound just sounds your sound sounds, yep, English. It sounds really like genuine and unique to you. So like what pieces of the puzzle really come together to create the sound that is quotes from movies?
That's really sweet. I appreciate that.
I try.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like it's not one I think about very often. Like, I think for a really long time, I really just wanted to make music like the 1975, and I'll say that pretty unashamedly, I guess. I
Yeah.
was just really inspired by them, and I still am in a lot of ways. And so I feel like I was really just trying to make music that sounded like them. I kind of reiterated that a second time, but and now I feel much more like I'm branching out and listening to different artists and trying to find like more new sources of inspiration and just going back to the same well over and over again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, like other than 1975, I'm really into Talking Heads right now, as I already said. And I really, really like the new Jack Antonoff album, The Bleachers, self-titled, that just came out.
Ooh.
I've been listening to that pretty much nonstop for like the last week or so. I don't know when it came out. Whenever it came out, I listened to it that night. And this one song, Ordinary Heaven, that I'm really, really loving right now. It was like 11:30 at night. I had all the lights off, and I was just listening to it in my headphones, and I was just like, "Oh, who's hitting me right in the stomach?" There's like all these really thoughtful, poetic lines about growing up and leaving your hometown and
Feelings, nostalgia, like all that.
yeah. So like I was saying, I've been working on a couple of new songs this week. Those are both really inspired by Talking Heads, Bleachers, and this artist McGee that you may or may not know of. It's spelled like MK.GEE.
Huh.
Anyway, I'll send you a link to it. There's this really good song called "Are You Looking Up" that I heard through a friend of mine. So I've listened to that a lot too. That's been very inspiring lately.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to check them out for
that
sure.
was kind of word soup, but
No, you're totally good. Yeah, you're totally good. I just got a notification that our timer's running out on the meeting. So I was wondering if I could restart a meeting, send you the link, and then we can continue on.
That sounds awesome.
Perfect. Sounds good. I'm going to clap and then do my thing. Perfect. And we are back to regularly scheduled programming after Zoom likes to do their little, hey, you have like 10 seconds left in the meeting thing that they usually do. You know, Zoom. The works. But I was looking over the questions and I was wondering, like, you have such a big, prominent sound. And I was wondering, like, how many people do you have on the team of quotes from movies? And are there any times where you wish that number would, like, change? Really?
That's a good question. Yeah, so the team is really small. It's just me. I do all of the production. I play all the instruments except for drums, which is my brother Noah. He does all the drum stuff. But other than that, it's usually just me. I've had like a saxophonist to play on as long as I can. That was kind of the one time where other people have played on it. But yeah, from the music standpoint, that's it really. And then my partner Maddie, who I'm sure you know or have seen on Instagram at least. She does all of the design and photo stuff for quotes from movies.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah.
Iconic.
She's so talented.
I gotta give her flowers.
Honestly, round of applause.
Honestly, holy cow. I might have to, like, hit her up for some services or something. Like, damn.
Go for it. I'm sure she would love to work together.
Is she also responsible for, I don't know what that thumbs down is for. Hello, Zoom.
I don't know what it is either. There have been thumbs up, but that was the first thumbs down we've seen.
Yeah, which, like, I think it's like a camera thing. Like, I have a MacBook Pro, and it has like Apple M3 on it or something. So maybe it's like a setting that I have to go in and change, but I have no idea how to do that yet. So I'm just kind of dealing with it for now. But
it's a gray area.
And then once I get like a good camera, then I'll be able to utilize that a little bit more. But for now, you'll see like little thumbs up and thumbs downs every once in a while. I try my best to ignore them. But that one, I was like, it's right in front of my face while I'm talking. Zoom is so... My MacBook is so rude. It's so rude. But, like, is she responsible for the As Long As I Can cover art too?
Yes. We did that together in our apartment.
I gotta... Here, standing ovation. Standing ovation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Incredible.
It took us a really long time. It's just like sheets of construction paper, just like with painter's tape on the back of it, and we made like that huge like corner thing of like the colorful checkerboard.
That's awesome. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that shoot. Really.
It was so cool. That was my favorite shoot we've done to date. It just felt really big and interesting and colorful and cool.
Like, it literally looks like it was taken in like a studio. It literally looks like a professional photo shoot. Honestly, she might as well be a professional at this point. She might as well.
Might as well.
And hey, if she's listening to this, thank you. Hi, Maddie. Shout out to Maddie. But
shout out to Maddie.
Yeah, but that's awesome. We love to see like hardworking people really coming together and just creating such magic. Really, I relate to the whole like it's basically just me kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, this is all me. Usually, I've had a graphic designer before. She was a really good friend of mine, and we went to high school together, went to NIAC together. Her name is
Mm.
Victoria. I'm pretty sure her username is Visuals by Vic, as in VIC. So
Okay.
definitely go check her out. Anybody who's listening, she does phenomenal work, and she is one of like the most creative, innovative, but also like really sweet, genuine people that I've ever met.
Right on.
So
That's awesome.
definitely go check her out. And I've had collaborations with photographers before. Like she did
Mm.
my very first photo shoot for the podcast, and
Cool.
it's the photo that my friend Alana from Scorpio Cove took and made it into merch for me.
Heyo.
So that's from the very first
Oh
photo
yeah.
shoot of mine. And then my
That's
friend
so cool.
Skylar from Skylar Grace Co. She did my second photo shoot. And then for the photo shoots 3 and 4, like the really
Mm.
editorial looking photo shoots, that's my friend Loma,
Mm.
who went to Wartburg with me.
Oh,
Similar to
cool.
like Skylar also went to Wartburg with me, but I've
Nice.
been getting together with him, and he and I have just been creating like visual magic when it comes to our photo shoots. Like we just put our two brains
Yeah.
together and just dice it out. Uh,
That's so
but
cool.
but other than that, like, and then like any like the merchandise collaboration, Scorpio Cove, I did that with them,
Mm.
formerly known as Scorpio Denim.
Mm.
But mainly with like setting up the equipment, editing everything, creating the graphics and TikToks, and
Mm.
doing like Spotify and YouTube and editing and sound production and the set and everything like that. It's pretty
Mm.
much all me.
Which looks lovely, by the way.
Thank you. It's all me, which is like
It's all you. That's
and
so awesome.
and like it's kind of like I never thought I would be able to do something like this when I was little.
Mm.
This was never in my radar. I wanted to be on Broadway
Mm.
for like 10 years. I also have like
Mm.
a music background, but I
Yeah.
decided that this was the better way to go. And
Yeah.
once you really love doing something, like you can't help but just be totally involved in the process. And
Absolutely.
it doesn't even seem it's a lot. You accomplish a lot in that time, and
Mm.
some people may think of that and be like, "Oh my god, that must have been so overwhelming." And I'm like, I was just so involved and so
Yeah.
inspired throughout the whole process. It didn't even feel like work. It just felt like I
Mm.
was playing and just decorating and doing
Yeah.
whatever I want to do and just creating art out of it. And I can totally feel that similar energy coming off of you. Like it doesn't even seem like work. You
Yeah.
just love to do it, and it just has
Mm.
been so successful for you so far.
Yeah.
So we're very similar in that light.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like, um, you know, there are still like times that it sucks and like hard things that you have to do for your art sometimes, but it still like doesn't feel like work. It's still not the same. And
Yeah.
you're like, I'm doing it for me and I'm doing it because I love it. And so like just because part of it becomes difficult does not mean that it's not worth it or that I'm gonna quit or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right. Exactly. Which, speaking of, like, there are some times to it where it can be a little difficult. What would you say, like, in your personal experience, what would you say, like, the pros and cons are to creating everything with quotes from movies the way that you do?
I feel like the pros are awesome. Like getting to make music, getting to have an outlet to express myself and share my thoughts on things and express how I feel about other people. Incredible. Like it's such a gift to have. I mean, to have a way to dispel creative energy, and this project really does that for me, and I'm really thankful for that. Um, and like the pros too are like getting to make cool art with my partner and getting to share the music with friends and with other artists, and I've been able to like produce for some other artists at this point, which has been cool.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to do more of that. So if you're an artist and you want me to produce a song for you and you like it to sound all dreamy and sweet, let me know.
Period.
Um,
Self promo all the way.
yeah, yeah, shameless.
Shameless self promo. You gotta.
Yeah. But then the cons, like it can be hard sometimes, and it can be stressful, like trying to make a bunch of people on the internet care about a song that you're putting out. It can be difficult to think of like ideas for content. It can be exhausting to like post day after day after day, and like you just want to take a day off. And sometimes I do take days off, like of posting on TikTok because I've just done it too much this week, and or I'm out with friends or something, and I'm like, this real life experience is going to be better than if I go to the bathroom for like the next 15 minutes and like try to make a TikTok on my phone or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know why I said the bathroom. I was thinking about like just excusing yourself to go create a TikTok, but no, don't make a TikTok in the bathroom.
Yeah. You're like, hey guys,
Private.
I'm going to go take a shit. And you're just actually in there creating a TikTok for like 15 minutes. People are you okay? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, yeah, I'm fine.
Oh my goodness.
Like, the whole works. I feel that too. Speaking of like content and like creating content and stuff, I've noticed that with your TikTok, the one kind of video that really like stands out to me personally is when you're promoting As Long As I Can, and it's like the picture slideshow. And automatically I was just like, there's so many different pictures that you can utilize and so many different like captioning that you can use. And it's just like, hey, people will flip through those videos in like no matter how long it takes, and they will read the text and they will hear the song. And it's like just an easy way to put out content as like frequently as you can without like burning yourself out.
It's been great.
Honestly, yeah, I was already thinking about the pros. I was like, shit, maybe I should do some more photo content like that. Which
go for it. People love it.
Idea. Ding ding ding, idea. You know, like that whole like 3 photo slideshow with like the captions to As Long As I Can? What if I created one with you using As Long As I Can to promote our collab on TikTok?
That sounds fun.
Perfect. I'm going to remind myself after we're done recording this, then we're making it. I'm taking the photos. We're going to do it.
I love the sound of it.
Perfect. And like just
That'd be perfect.
Just across of like, both like 2 worlds colliding. I was about to say best of both worlds, but like we're not doing a Hannah Montana situation. We're coming together to create art.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's awesome. Also, one of the things that I like to do as well with, honestly, put that in a song. And you're like, pop credits to Morgan Schlichting from No Internal Monologue. Yep, thank you.
Yep.
From the one that I was on. Yeah, thanks. Hair flip. But I was thinking, one of the things that I like to do with No Internal Monologue as well is I like to separate the role from the self, because sometimes when there are other creators out there or different influencers, different people from walks of life, everybody is always concerned with like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And you can kind of get caught in like mixing the role and the self and not being able to separate the two. And it's like, hey, you do quotes from movies, but you are Micah. So what do you do like aside from everything from quotes from movies? Like what are your different interests and hobbies that kind of separate the role from the self, if that makes sense?
That's an excellent question. And I believe I've already talked about cooking a little bit, but I've really been getting into that lately.
Yeah.
So I won't go over that too much more. But other than that, I really like watching Love is Blind. Been watching a lot of Love is Blind lately.
Ooh.
I like skateboarding. I'm not very good at it, but I really do like to skateboard. I haven't got my board out in a while, but I would like to do that this summer. Just bought a football, so I've been tossing the football around, and that's been fun. Good way to get outside. I like working at Trader Joe's. That's a big part of my life right now because I just started there.
Yeah. And
a lot of my friends in Nashville, I just moved here, so a lot of my friends here from Trader Joe's. I love camping and hiking. I went backpacking for the first time last year, and I did it like 4 more times over the summer. Going to Wyoming this summer to the Grand Tetons to backpack for a week. Really excited about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. That kind of rounds me out.
Very outdoorsy for sure. Very outdoorsy. And speaking of Love is Blind, have you been watching season 6 lately?
Yes.
So the really tall girl, her name is Mackenzie. She's the one that was like, oh yeah, I peed in the pool.
Oh yeah.
I went to high school with her.
What?
Yeah, she graduated in 2016 and I graduated in 2018, which that really exposed our ages. But yeah, she was in She was in like show choir with me, and I'm pretty
Mm,
sure we were in National Honor Society together for like 1 year before she graduated.
yeah.
She did like a couple of like thespian like theater things
Mm,
alongside me. But we didn't
yeah.
get like too much time together because, she was going off because she is like one hell of a model. Oh my God. I've seen
Mm,
like her progression over the years and like even in high
yeah.
school, like some of the work that she's done and the opportunities that she was uh getting to embark on. Like she was
Mm,
doing all that and I'm sitting here and I'm like, girl boss, I really wish I can do something
honestly.
like that someday. And then I
Mm,
kind of messaged her the other day and I was just like, hey, congratulations, dude. Like, what? Like, that's insane.
honestly, that is
I
so cool.
honestly, like, I've been meaning to put on, like, Love is Blind season 6 this weekend and just
Mm,
watching the whole way. And yeah,
could
because,
be the
like,
move.
it seems like a really interesting show, too. And, like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like, just the BK pride is really showing with her lately. And I've been meaning to tell her,
Yeah.
like, hey, congratulations on Love is Blind. Like you're killing it, like love the content, love to see it,
Yeah.
and just seeing that success for a fellow like Bronco,
Yeah.
on you Broncos.
Right on.
Everyone from Belmont right now is like, Morgan, shut the actual fuck up. But it's you know, BK, I never talk about it, but BK.
Yeah. BK.
BK. And like, yeah,
Oh.
honestly, we were also talking in DMs about like possibly like having you come to my side of the pond, doing a podcast in
Mm,
person. And
mm,
if we were thinking about doing it during the summer, like Alex is a very outdoorsy person as well. And
mm,
there's like this hiking trail that there's in a town that's like about 10 or 15 minutes away from here. And it's a really
mm.
beautiful trail. Honestly, if we have time around that weekend to like go outside and if the weather's really nice, I'd love to
Ooh, yeah.
go on a hike with you,
That sounds awesome.
because besties. That's what we do.
That sounds like so much fun. I love to hike. And hiking is such a good way to get to know people too. There's
Yeah.
really nothing else to do and just talk while you're walking.
Yeah. Honestly, like the last time that we went on a hike, like honestly, I never pulled out my phone. Usually when I'm
Mm,
with like a bunch of friends, like I only like to check no internal monologue if something like urgent quote unquote it's content, but
yeah.
like urgent quote unquote is happening and I need to like keep up on it, then I'll like try to like keep myself updated only a little bit, but I like to keep my phone out of the way as best as I possibly
Yeah,
can when hanging out with him and friends and family and stuff like that.
for sure.
And yeah, again, a really good way to get to know people, really good way to
Mm-hmm.
socialize, really good
Absolutely.
way to get active and outside.
Ooh, spend some time in nature. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. So, putting a pin in that. Putting a pin in that for
We'll put a
sure.
pin in it. We'll get back to it.
Absolutely. But speaking of getting back to things, getting back to the quotes from movies world, what are the different ways that you advertise like you and your art on social media? And like, do you have like a favorite way of marketing per se?
Mm.
Again, me nerding
Um,
out.
Another awesome question, honestly. I I don't know. Like lately, the TikToks, the 3 slide carousel TikToks have been awesome because I feel like I can just kind of take some pictures throughout my day and just kind of it's almost a way to like photo journal. I just feel like you can scroll through there and see a lot of pictures from my life if you want to.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just a really nice, easy, low effort way to make content. It seems to like bring a lot of people in. But I also really like um, I really like the process of promoting a new song coming out. Like that, it's really fun to like build the world and like share like sequentially like the cover last and like leading up to it. Do like I just recorded some videos today, like performance videos, and then just like pictures from the shoot that you did for the album cover. So that's like one of my favorite ways to promote. And then like because it feels really exciting to have something new.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it starts to get a little less fun once you haven't like had anything out for a while and you're like trying to figure out what do I post about and especially
Yep.
on Instagram Like sometimes I just want to like share a photo of me eating a donut on Instagram, and I'm like, I don't know if like everybody really needs to see this right now.
Honestly, yeah.
I'm trying to get more comfortable with that.
I feel like if you made it like some sort of like a meme related to your music and like kind of
Mm,
added a little bit of like a human element to it where it's like,
yeah,
hey, I like silly goofy humor. Here's me eating a donut. Go stream my song. Like
yeah.
I'd do
I
it.
would sound of that.
I'll make the graphic for you. Fuck it. Why not? I can join the team honorarily. Like I'll do it.
Yeah.
Is
Oh
honorarily
my
a word?
goodness.
I
Just
made it a
dropped my
word.
water bottle. Sorry about that.
Oh, no. Honestly, I've dropped this puppy way too many times today. Don't tell Alex, but I've dropped it way too many times today at work, and it just made this huge like thong noise. I'm like,
The metal water bottles, it's tough. If you drop that, it's just going to make a huge crashing noise.
yeah. I'm like,
It's
sorry.
inevitable.
Yeah. I'm like, sorry guys, sorry for the overstimulation.
Yeah.
Um, but
That's so funny.
speaking of like putting out new content and coming up with new ideas
Mm.
for music and concepts, what really is like your typical day to day or like your typical responsibilities as an artist or as
Mm.
the person behind quotes for movies?
Yeah. I feel like the pretty standard daily one is just checking notifications, responding to comments if people have commented, just kind of like keeping up with the online community. That's very much like the first thing in the morning thing for me. I'll just kind of like wake up and like just check and see what happened overnight. But then like, I don't know, in a more philosophical sense, like I feel like I want to set aside time during the day to be able to write songs, to give myself space to like receive ideas from the ether, if you will, I suppose. But so yeah, like I definitely feel a compulsion to make sure that there's enough time in my days, and sometimes it doesn't work. Like sometimes I'll be really busy, or I'll like stay in bed too long, and so I just have to like shower and go to work. Um, but I do my best to make sure I have like some time to be creative every day, no matter what. Whether it's like in the morning before work or like after work, or I'll come home and stay up for a few hours. I usually work 2 to 10. That provides a good context, I suppose. It's not like I'm going to bed at 8 and I get home from work at 5.
I feel that.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd say that's a pretty good summation of what I do like in a day just as an artist. And like obviously sometimes like today I had to do a lot more because it's my off day, so I had to film some content. And then I wrote up a playlist pitch for the new song that I have coming out next month, April 12th. I
Noted.
haven't posted about that yet, so that this is the sneak peek.
Oh my god, guys, exclusive.
Promoting it.
Exclusive, guys. Whoa.
This is the exclusive. This is what's going to bring in the listeners. Never before heard news about my next single.
I'm gonna put that in the description for sure. People won't be able to help but click.
Hell yeah.
It'll be on YouTube as well, so everybody will be able to see my visceral excitement. Like, ah,
Ayo.
ayo.
Love it.
How
Hello, YouTube.
fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you. I come up with it myself. Like I try to come up with as many like introspective, like fun, but also like meaningful questions at the same time. Because
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of interviews where like all the different celebrities get asked like the same questions over and over.
And that must be so annoying for them.
And like the games that some interviews have, like some of them seem like really fun, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, you're literally doing this just to see like Cillian Murphy eat hot sauce. You know, it's just like it gets a little like redundant at some points. But with me, like I want it to be fun. I want it to be inclusive, and I want it to be just comfy and safe at the same time. So if somebody does want to like bare their soul and like really let people in, then I give them the space to do so. Because
And I think that's awesome.
And everybody needs to have that every once in a while, to have that sense of, okay, I can be myself. I can relax. My shoulders don't have to be so tense. I can just chill out. I can have a conversation instead of feeling like just an interview, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you get to
Yeah.
self promote and talk about yourself and talk about your process, but at the same time, it doesn't sound like media trained, scripted, forced.
Yeah.
Like anything that I can
Exactly.
do in order to create that little safe space, the little authentic space, then I
It's
try my
working
best to
for
do
me
that.
so far, I must say. I feel good about being here. I feel safe.
Oh my gosh, thank you. My heart is just like boom, boom. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Of
that.
course.
Speaking of like the fun, deep questions, how I know that success is different in all people. Like some people find like personal emotional success, some people see like numerical success, some people see like life enrichment success, but how would you describe your success so far?
I would say,
There are no wrong answers, by the
question.
way.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I could come at it from a couple of different ways, but the first thing that comes to mind is just kind of overwhelming, I guess.
Makes sense.
I feel like when I started this, I didn't think it was going to really go anywhere. And I feel like as a person, I build these things into my life, like little safeguards, so that I'm not like disappointed. So I tell myself this probably isn't going to go anywhere, so that when it doesn't, I won't be disappointed and devastated that it didn't go anywhere. But it feels like it's going somewhere now, and so I feel like I feel a little surprised and a little overwhelmed with it, like or by it, I suppose. Like I remember when I like reached 1,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like that's such a small number in the grand scheme of things. But I don't know. I just remember feeling so like, yeah, like this is kind of like becoming legitimate. Like it's getting to this point where there are people who are interested in hearing the songs that I write. And I don't know. Like that's how success feels for me right now. I'm sure that will kind of change as things continue to happen, and like it already has. Like if a song has 5,000 streams now, I'm like, oh, it doesn't have that many because it's like I've had songs that have gotten a lot more. Um, So yeah, I feel like success like kind of moves on a sliding scale as you go up, and it kind of exponentially grows as you accumulate more of it. But
And
that's how
it
it
all
feels right now.
and it also changes as you grow and evolve as a person too. And
Yeah,
like some beliefs may change, some mindsets may change, and with that like ideas of success can change as well.
yeah.
And like same thing like honestly, I was sitting here like thinking like have you been like watching me through like my bedroom window cuz like we literally have like the same like mindset cuz it's like I
I have
remember
not been.
I remember when I was first starting out, like I posted on SoundCloud and I
Mm,
advertised that on my Facebook so then my mom and my grandma can see. And I
mm,
also did it on Snapchat so then all my besties can see. And
yeah,
I was like, this isn't going to go anywhere. And now I'm over here making connections with people like you, and I'm
mm,
making connections with other creators that have basically built their status from the ground up and have just learned
yeah.
as they went and grew as they went.
Absolutely.
And I'm over here like, well, shit. I did not expect
It's
to.
kind of happening.
It's kind of happening. And
Mm-hmm.
again, like, I remember when I first hit like 100 plays on an episode on SoundCloud. And I was just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what? And it's such a big number in that moment. But then I look
Yeah.
back at that now and I'm like, oh, little baby Morgan, how cute. You know, it's like, and now I see
Yeah.
where we're at and I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
whoa. Did not think I was going to keep
I
going at 3 years, but hey, now I'm just like, I don't think I'm ever going to retire. Like, I truly don't think
Why would you?
why would you? If you love doing it, if it feels like a hobby,
Honestly.
then do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Agreed.
like I
That's
honestly
so cool.
I I will continue doing this until I legitimately cannot. Like that's where we're at.
Hell yeah.
And like
Don't
success
stop until the wheels fall off.
yeah, and like success can kind of fluctuate in many different ways as you go, but I think that's
Mm,
also one of the fun parts of the journey, just seeing the growth, seeing the change of mindset, you know?
for sure.
Yeah. Which speaking of that, I hope you don't
So
mind.
I
I
realized that I am completely in the dark right now. Should I maybe turn on the light?
You can if you want to. But then again, like, I can see you just fine.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So you don't have to get up if you don't want to.
Okay, we'll leave it. We'll leave it at this.
Perfect. Sounds good.
It's not the set.
And I hope you don't mind that I'm like looking down because I have my notes in here and I want to make sure that I'm keeping myself on track because like if
Right.
I don't keep myself on track, then I am going to lose my train of thought and then it's literally
Absolutely.
just going to be 2 minutes of me dissociating in silence.
I relate to that. I relate to that very strongly.
Yeah, ADHD. But with that, was there speaking of like seeing things like succeed and grow as you go,
Hmm.
was there like a specific mission that you had in mind when starting out with this? And do you feel like that mission has been like completed in a way?
Excellent question. I don't know. I really don't know if I know. I think when I started this, I just wanted to like be able to make music, and I've done that, and I've grown a lot in that. And so in that way, I feel like I've accomplished what I've set out to. But I don't know. I really don't know what my next milestone is going to be. Like I'm playing my first like full band show as quotes from movies next month in Nashville.
Ooh.
And like that feels like kind of a good culmination of everything as well. Like something that I've always wanted to do. Like there'll be a way for my music to like I play a lot of solo shows, but if you heard my music, you know it's very instrumentally dense. We'll say,
Oh, yes.
and so this will be like what the first time that I can kind of try to recreate that because I'll have a drummer and a bassist and a keyboardist and I'll be able to like just play guitar and sing and like the rest of the band will kind of take care of the rest and like that feels like a really cool thing too.
Having like a full live sound too.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited.
I cannot wait. Please tell me that there's going to be someone in the audience like recording little snippets so then we can see the magic from anywhere. Please tell me.
I hope so. It would be great if I could get somebody to do that. Even if it's just on a phone, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I'll do my best to make it happen.
Hopefully. And if not, and if you need somebody to help you with that, hey, I volunteer as tribute.
Heyo.
I volunteer as tribute. I will clear my whole schedule forever and ever. But
Nice.
with that in mind, we are getting to a point where the time is starting to run out again. So I'm going to start another quick little meeting and we can get back to it. We are back once again, and I have actually one more question for you.
All right.
And then we can go into closing segments. So I ask this of everybody that I have on the show. This is one of the questions that I hold near and dear because I love hearing like if anybody wanted to embark on a life and career path that's similar to you and with quotes from movies, if there was anything that they could learn from you so then they can get like a pretty decent repertoire of advice from multiple different creators, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
Any advice that you'd like to give to little quotes from movies fans out there?
Well, I would say that if you want to release music, don't focus on making it perfect. Don't focus on making it the best it could ever be. Just make it the best that you can right now. And like, that's what I'm doing right now. I record everything in my bedroom, and this is like the best I can do right now. I would love to record in like a huge studio that, I had to pay $2,500 a day to use it, but I can't afford that right now. So I just do everything at home. And so if you want to release music, just do it and don't worry so much about it being perfect because it's probably not going to be. And also, people don't like perfection as much as you think. A lot of people really appreciate something that is a little more flawed. So I don't know. That's a good just general piece of advice for a lot of things. If you're gonna put yourself out there, just don't worry about it so much because chances are it's not gonna be perfect anyway. Because it really can't be.
Like, don't wait to be perfect and then start. Like, do it Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't be, because perfect doesn't really exist technically.
No,
Like it's just like
not at all.
it's just a term really used to kind of make people feel bad about themselves, really.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's an
uh,
unrealistic standard.
yeah, it is an unrealistic standard. It literally is unreal,
Mm-hmm.
as in perfect literally is not real. But
Yeah,
like
for sure.
we're all just gaslighting ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
with art and with all these different things that you can create, literally anything really,
Mm-hmm.
having it be quote unquote imperfect or flawed, it adds the humanness to it. And that's where you can really find a lot of
So true.
resonation and a lot of connection with that.
Mm-hmm.
So like don't don't wait, just do it and then learn as you go. And that's how you're really going to improve. And that's how you're really
Yeah,
going to make it quote unquote perfect.
yeah. Like the
Yeah.
perfect song is the one that you release. That's it. It's the one that you release. Like it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be perfect. The best song is the one that's out there for people to hear and to enjoy. Because until you, well, this is maybe not true, but sometimes for me, it's like until you share it with the world, it's not completely art yet.
Yep.
And that's kind of maybe a hot take because I think there is a lot of good art out there that's never been seen. But I also just feel like it's a natural part of art to be perceived and enjoyed by the public.
Yeah. And like the little tiny like quote unquote flaws is honestly what a lot of people technically gravitate towards, really,
Yeah.
because it makes it unique.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it like tailored to that one specific person, or it's tailored to like a specific feeling that people are experiencing, listening,
Yeah.
seeing, everything, really. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is genuinely
Exactly.
really good advice. Wow. Perfect note to end on with like closing segments and stuff. So perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. Wow, Morgan. Use a word that doesn't exist. So first, what can Morgan not stop listening to? I would say what's stuck in my head, but as you can tell from the title of the show, No Internal Monologue, I can't hear shit in my head. So one little bop. Oh my god. Okay. So this is a very fast development for me. It's one of those things where like I really have to listen to a song a whole bunch in order to really like just it gets to a point where like a song kind of has to grow on me a little bit before it gets to a point where I'm like, wow, I really want to like gnaw on this song like a chew toy. But with this one, it really has not taken any time at all. I found this song for the first time last night, and it is called Slug by Matt Champion. And like, there's something about it. It's just so eclectic and it's so interesting on the ears to listen to. And like, the production in a way, it just sounds like it was made for me as a person.
Yeah, I love that.
Like you listen to Slug by Matt Champion and you're like, okay, yeah, of course Morgan would like this kind of song. Of course she would.
Yeah.
And like
Mm-hmm.
it's I've literally wanted to like gnaw on this song like a chew toy. Really. It's like it also reminds me of like again, I'm gonna bring up Ariana Grande, go figure. But like again, she was in an interview recently and she said about her longtime friend and producer Max Martin. He's like one of the things that really keeps him going and keeps him motivated is that there are endless codes to crack when it comes to music. And that's how they keep creating newer and newer stuff and how they experiment further and further. And listening to this song has really reminded me of like, wow, there are so many codes to crack when it comes to music. And it's 2024 and everything is starting to sound a lot more independent, a lot more unique, a lot more eclectic. And it's so interesting to listen to. It's like, and we're only gonna get better. Like, think about like what's gonna be out there in 2030. Like, hello.
Exactly.
And we're gonna be thinking about like Slug by Matt Champion in the day and be like, oh, that's so 2024. But like, still, like, it's so I love it. I literally was like unloading the dishwasher before I prepped for this podcast, and I literally had it on loop. I shit you not. I had it on loop because I was like, I don't want to listen to anything else right now besides this song.
Yeah.
So like, that's where I'm at personally.
I get that. I
But
get that.
how about for you? Do you have any song or songs that you would like to promote?
Well, I really like the one that I just sent you. Are You Looking Up by McGee? incredible song. That's one that's really been on loop for me lately too. Like, I'll get in the car, going to work or going to get groceries or something, and that's usually the first song I play. I just cannot get enough of it yet.
Yeah. Gotta chew on it like a chew toy.
That's what I'm doing with it right now. Are you looking up? Oh, good.
That's awesome. Going on to like things that we're obsessed with, weekly obsessions is
Ooh, yes.
something that I like to take a lot of pride in. And this could be like anything you want. Like, I saw a squirrel outside of my window and it looked at me weird and I can't stop thinking about it. Like, it can literally be shit like that. But I think my weekly obsession is every content creator is going to be like, Morgan, we already knew about this, but I got this in the mail a couple days ago. It is the Alex Earl TikTok light or whatever it's called. And like, I was kind of skeptical about it because like literally everybody was doing a trend on it. I was like, it can't be that good. Oh no, it's that good. I literally I am illuminated from all angles. I literally am like as bright as day in a dark ass room. All lights off, no sorts of light whatsoever. I turn this puppy on, it literally lights up the entire room. It's like, all right, there she is. She's present. She's glowing. She's doing her job.
She's glowing.
And maybe I could be taken seriously on TikTok.
Ayo.
So, there's that. As I literally just tossed it across the room like a barbarian. Hello. But anyways.
Like you don't even love it.
Yeah, I love it. Tosses it. But with that in mind, anything that you're obsessed with lately? While I try to get my vision back, I'm seeing dots now. That's the one downside. I'm seeing dots.
That was a bright light. That was an incredibly bright light, I must say. Man, that Bleachers album, I know I've already talked about it a lot, but I'm really obsessed with that this week.
That's awesome.
I've been listening to it nonstop, and I've been telling everybody at work to listen to it. Like, have you heard this album? Have you heard it? You should listen to this song. I'm sending Ordinary Heaven to everybody that I know. And I posted a little clip of me playing it today too. And I don't know. I just can't stop thinking about it. I'm obsessed.
Literally, you're gonna have to send that my way now, because now that you've hyped it up, I gotta look into it.
I'm gonna do it as we speak before I forget.
Period. Sounds good. While you're doing that, I have a small business of the week shout out. So, some of you may recognize what I'm about to. Ow! I just hit my elbow. It wasn't my funny bone, so nobody can laugh at me. So,
not the funny bone.
People laugh at me enough already.
Ouchie.
So. But some people have recognized this little doll that I have in my studio, and she was handmade by the small business that I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm just going to be holding her on my knee awkwardly while I talk.
Nice.
But the business name is called Bitch Seda. Honestly, iconic. But Briseda is a full-time artist who has been making art ever since she was a child, but she never really took it seriously until she turned 18, and she sold only paintings and drawings at the time, but then she really started sculpting in 2020. I feel like one of the very few good things that came out of 2020 is that everybody decided to just unleash their creative energy and just go for it and start their small businesses. And now we're all over here like, hey, we can literally create our own income and support each other if we really wanted to at the end of the day. So Briseda has definitely been partaking in that. She had a TikTok go viral about a year later of one of her key holders that she hand sculpted herself, and it's a lip sculpture that you could put on the wall and hang your keys. And you would think that people that have sculpted the gods back then would have sculpted these key holders, because the craftsmanship and the attention to detail is holy shit, how? And she just keeps putting them out like hotcakes. I'm like, girl, you're so talented and so productive. I wish. But you would hang your keys on the tongue part of the sculpture, because it kind of curves up and you could just have a cute little holding to hang your keys on.
Love that.
You're just gonna have to check her out in order to properly visualize what I'm talking about, because just hearing about tongue sculpture, hold your keys, that could be a little hard to envision at first. But I will give everybody the social media so you can go check her out. But that's been her most popular product to date. And that product actually propelled her into being able to do art full time. So now this is like her full time gig. And since then, she's also expanded her product line. So she's come out with sculpted compact mirrors, jewelry, ring displays, pots, planners, ornaments. And the most recent thing that she's been doing are these little customized dolls. And I think that's like the biggest project that she has at the moment is trying to create a YouTube channel. So then, if anybody wanted to learn to get started with sculpting like she has, then she's trying to get a YouTube and a Patreon page together. So then she can offer tips and tricks for people who are wanting to get started with everything that she's doing. So with that, you can find Brisada and everything Bitch Seda has to offer on her Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. It is all Bitch Seda. So that is BITCHSEIDA. And you can also find her website, bitchseda, spelled the same way, .com. And I promise you all out there, you do not want to miss her. And now you'll be thinking of her every single time I pull out this little gal here, my little mini twin. I was wearing the same dress that she has on now at the most recent No Internal Monologue photo shoot. And I honestly thought about like taking her hair and putting them into the same hairstyle that I had on the shoot, which if you want to see those results, you're going to have to check me out. Fun segue. I am getting better at segues, Morgan.
Hey, you are. That was smooth.
There's definitely been some moments where my segues have not been the greatest, but I'm getting better. But
That's okay.
with my social media, it's a little bit of a long list, so hang in there. Right now, nointernalmonologue.com is my website, and it has been going on a little bit of construction. We've been adding a few more photos and kind of changing the look of it a little bit and adding more content. So anything on there, you're definitely going to have to go check me out. I also have a collection with Scorpio Cove. I think they already changed their website to scorpiocove.com. I will have updated links in my description. We over there have t-shirts, crew necks, 8x10 prints, stickers. But if you're wanting a pillow, like I have here, or if you wanted like a phone case or a mug or a tapestry or a clock or a phone case, whatever your heart desires, go to society6.com and you should be able to find Scorpio Denim or Scorpio Cove on that page. Again, I'll have the link in the description down below to check us out on there. Also, I know you had a magazine article come out recently with you and everything Quotes for Movies has to offer.
Yeah.
And I also have a magazine article that was released back in 2022 on disruptmagazine.com. The article is called No Internal Monologue is the hottest podcast you should be listening to right now. And reading through it the other night, honestly, because I just like to read through it to make me feel good about myself. But like, I would say it's still pretty prevalent. So go check that out if you're wanting to hear more about me.
Thanks.
With that, oh God, I have such an extensive list that I'm literally just like, what's next? Oh, okay. So my podcast Instagram is no internal monologue _podcast. My TikTok is no internal monologue. And hopefully we're able to have TikTok be here so that we can keep creating on there because I just heard about the ban and I'm so fucking pissed about it. But anyways, that's a conversation for another day. I have my personal Instagram, which is KINDA _MORGANN. My personal TikTok is MORGAN _LEIGH 99. I also have Twitter or X. Thanks, Elon. It's just so boring of an app now. But anyways, I'm on there. NOINT _monologue. With that, I also, looking over at my notes, I also have my Spotify, my playlist, Welcome Morgan Now Stop Listening To, linked down in the description. I also have Spotify. I have Apple Podcasts. I'm all over the place there. I'm on YouTube, so go check me out there. Hopefully I'll get a Patreon set up here pretty soon, depending on how everything goes here, but kind of want to take my time with that. And for now, that's pretty much what I have. And you're definitely especially going to want to go check out the No Internal Monologue TikTok and Instagram because I've been posting daily for at least the last month. And there's going to be new looks for my most recent photo shoot with Loma. up pretty soon. I'm going to be posting the link in like the behind the scenes clips very, very soon. So go follow
Oh
me on
yeah.
there or else you're a fake fan.
Go check
LOL.
that out, guys. Come on. Go look at it.
I'm like, if you haven't followed me by now, you might as well.
What are you doing?
But right. But with that in mind, speaking of go follow me, what are you doing? Any social media that you'd like to promote? All the floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Okay. I pretty much just have Instagram and TikTok. Social media wise. So if you want to check those out, this is QFM.
Period.
For both of those. I post on there. I try to post on TikTok daily, and I try to, post on Instagram periodically. I love posting a good Instagram story though, so keep an eye out for those.
Yes.
Um,
Iconic.
but yeah, and if you want to listen to my music, I'm on Spotify and Apple Music and pretty much every streaming service under the sun. But yeah, just quotes from movies.
That's awesome.
That's all I got.
How did you come up with quotes from movies, by the way? Impromptu question, but I'm like, that's such like a
I
cool
like it.
stage name to go under. It really is.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Me and my brother kind of came up with it together because we are big movie guys, and like a lot of our comedy with each other is based off of like quotes from TV shows and movies and just funny stuff we've heard in media throughout the years. And so yeah, like when we started it, we were doing it more together. Yeah, so we came up with that, and it felt like a really good fit for us and our relationship, and it still does, honestly. And I still love quoting movies, so it rings true. It holds up.
That's awesome. Is your brother the same person that's in like the cover art for like Flee the Scene, like that EP?
Yes.
Aw, how cute. Little
The
tidbit.
mustached fella.
No internal monologue exclusive. That's who that is.
That's who that is.
That's who that is.
If you were wondering, now you know. That is Noah Humphreys.
There you go. Well, shout out Noah. Hi, Noah.
Hey, Noah.
Hello. But with that, thank you everybody for listening to the podcast thus far. I really appreciate it. Here are a couple of gifts, by the way, before you go. So, cosmetology, right? Getting your hair done. How fun. Ooh. My cosmetologist, her name is McKenna. Her business is Cosmo by Kenna. And she is like an absolute whiz with color. Like you'll be able to see the color more prominently in the photo shoot, which again, go to my Instagram. But I'm all over the place there. But whenever I get my hair done for at least the last like 4 years, I've been getting my hair done from her, and she never ever ever disappoints me. She always brings my visions to life. Even though personally I really regret like the whole like Rachel Berry bangs, but half of it to one side is blonde. I was going through a lot, but either way, it was a vision that I had back then, and I thought it looked really good. And she always brings my visions to life, and she's very communicative and very outgoing and very personable and just talented overall. So I would say book a beauty service appointment with Cosmo McKenna. Tell her, Morgan from No Internal Monologue, like me, hi, I sent you, right? And you'll get a 10% off referral discount if you do from one of the best cosmetologists out there. So definitely go check her out. And while we're at it, one of the small businesses that I covered recently, Sweary by Carrie Designs. If you have seen my TikTok, my No Internal Monologue TikTok, there's a clip on there where I am just absolutely struggling to spell her username. That's her. But if you order from her for the first time, there is a link in the description that you can receive 15% off your entire order as a first-time customer at Sweary Carrie Designs. So if you're interested in that, go check out my descriptions down below, and you can get that link, and it's a fun time, and you'll sport so much small business gear thanks to me and her. So, huzzah. But with that, yeah, honestly, I think that's pretty much where I'm at. For you, Micah, any last words?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me on. This was really fun.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have people on. especially
It was
people
really
like you
nice
too.
to get to know you more. I feel like we've been internet friends for a long time, but it's fun to have like a real, moving conversation. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you. Oh, this has been so fun. I cannot wait to like edit this and like have clips
Yeah.
and just have that conversation out there. People are really gonna love this, Micah. I really hope. I'm just
Hey,
so much
that's
good energy.
awesome.
Ah.
I'm just excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to listen to it too when it comes out and remember all the things that we were talking about that I forgot about already.
Yeah, no kidding. I literally am like listening to audio and video as we're going along and I'm editing and I'm just like, "Holy shit, I said that?" Like I totally forget.
I don't remember that.
Like I almost go into like a flow state when I'm recording and then I'm just like everything just comes out and then everything afterwards I'm
Hmm.
just like, "Yeah, I don't know what I said, but I said it. I'm not going to edit it.
Yeah.
I said it." Like if
Hmm.
I will. Yeah, I think the one thing about it too is like I like to make the recordings as authentic as possible. So like I barely
Yeah.
do really any editing with like the long clips.
Yeah.
I feel like if there is a time where I slip up and I accidentally say like a name or a place that I probably wasn't supposed to, or I didn't
Yeah.
previously get the consent of the person or place before that to say it, then I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll just beep that out real quick. But other than
Yeah.
that, like just straight through, like I
Yeah.
just let it go. It feels more natural that way. It feels more like a
I think that's the right
conversation
way to
that
do
way.
it. I think that's the way that people appreciate it the most.
And also, one of the perks about that I really never talk about is it makes editing so much easier. So you know,
Oh yeah.
there's that too. But yeah, sounds like a plan. Honestly,
Yeah.
I
Thank you so
think
much again.
not a problem. Absolutely. I think with that, we are going to make that fun little take pictures for the TikTok, and I'll be posting it when this episode comes out next week. And then
Lovely.
Alex is currently cooking in the kitchen. I can hear like steaks sizzling.
Ooh, nice.
He got a T-bone steak from the store, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm cooking this bitch up." I'm like, "Yeah, you are."
Ayo.
And I can,
That's
ayo,
your gain right there. That sounds awesome.
ayo, and like I can hear like pots and pans, and I can also hear little Noir in the kitchen like meowing at him and like bothering him because she just does not know how to leave both of us alone. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go cuddle with her, edit this, go eat, enjoy the rest of my night,
That
and I
sounds
hope you enjoy the
awesome.
rest of your night as well.
Hey, thank you so much. And I hope that the
Absolutely.
steaks are awesome. And have a good rest of your evening.
Absolutely. Toodaloo, you frickin' buckaroos.